Welcome back to WRPL, the podcast where we talk about all the things we were watching, reading, playing, and listening to. My name's Ben.
And I'm Steve.
This week, our big topic, the not anticipated movie on my list, the who the hell asked for this movie, Lightyear. So, as always, spoilers for Lightyear and anything else that we decide to bring up. Got a few things to talk about. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing well, Ben. How are you?
I'm okay. You do anything special for Father's Day?
I called my dad.
Same.
Yep.
It's one of those nice things when your parents live in another state. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do, and I mean, we'll probably go to like a baseball game or something in the future.
Yeah.
Obviously, COVID the past couple of years has set us back, so I owe him like 3 baseball games and or gifts or something. I don't know, but definitely some father-son time is coming. Just not sure when.
Cool. All right. Let's start with you. I don't have as much as you probably, and I don't have much to say about the stuff that I have consumed. So, what have you been consuming, Steve?
So I played a new game, the free PS Plus game this month, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.
Same.
Yeah. And I don't have much to say about it. I didn't play it a ton. I grew up, how big of a Nickelodeon kid were you growing up?
I didn't have cable as a kid, so not much.
Oh, really?
I mean, we had cable for a short amount of time, and I watched a ton of Double Dare, but I don't know, it was like a period of 2 years that we had it, and then it was gone, so I didn't grow up on MTV or anything like that. Not until I was almost graduated high school before we got cable again.
Nickelodeon was a big part of my childhood. I feel like mostly I remember the game shows, the Double Dare, the Legend of the Hidden Temple, like that kind of stuff. But obviously there were some cartoons on at the time that I enjoyed. And, I mean, that was mostly Ninja Turtles. So playing this game, I was excited to play as the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. The two worst Ninja Turtles.
It's like Michelangelo, I understand. He's probably the most popular Ninja Turtle.
And swords are cool.
And he's the leader. So I see, I mean, frankly, they should all be in there. And maybe, I'm sure that's probably like, if this game was popular and we released downloadable content, we're going to get the other Turtles in there.
But also, Turtles is one of those franchises that they have a big enough cast that they can have their own fighting game. And I know they have had fighting games in the past, but in this kind of Smash Brothers style, I'm surprised they haven't jumped on that.
Yeah, I was hoping for Raphael because he's always been my favorite.
But you get April O'Neil, classic beat-em-up character, April O'Neil.
Hey, man, nothing strikes fear to the hearts of the enemies than the media.
And yellow jumpsuits.
Not many people can pull off yellow. April O'Neil?
Oh, I know.
It's like her and the bride from Kill Bill. That's about it.
Pretty much.
And I guess Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm a huge fan of Smash Brothers, and obviously they have set the standard so high, it'd be very hard to sort of emulate that, and they don't quite reach that level. There's quite a few differences, and I respect going a different way, so it's not just a carbon copy with Nickelodeon characters. But I'm so used to playing that, like I've been playing Smash Brothers for the past 15 plus years or whatever it's been. So to play this game, even though it's so similar, I didn't know what to do at all. I felt like a child again, because it's like usually I can pick up any game and figure it out relatively quickly. I was like, I don't know how to do any of these moves.
You didn't watch any of the tutorial stuff?
No, I just kind of jumped right in.
Because they explain it's a rock, paper, scissors format. So if you're doing an up attack and I do a neutral attack, well, mine beats yours. I'm doing a neutral attack, you're doing a down attack, well, yours beats mine. It's just up beats down, down beats neutral, neutral beats up, regardless if you're in the air or on the ground. So even if you're jumping down on someone, like this is going to spike them, if they're doing the counter move to you, they will always hit over you. It's interesting, but that makes you constantly think, okay, they're above me, so they're probably going to do a down attack, so I need to do the opposite one, but then they could just be doing the neutral attack or something else. And it makes for me getting my ass kicked really quickly by low-level NPCs.
Yeah. So when I played it, I set it to level 5. It was like, okay, it's the standard, and it's like I've destroyed people at level 5. It's like it only really gets hard once you hit like 7, 8, 9. It's like 5, I could probably I might lose a life here or there, but I can probably take this guy. They were stomping me.
Yep.
It was very jarring and very humbling too. It's like, okay, so like some games you actually do need to learn.
And up isn't jump, and I know people in Smash Brothers, they use a button to jump and not up, and since it's a fighting game, I'm just so used to up being your jump.
Yeah.
So I'm falling off the edge, and I'm trying to jump.
Yeah, the first time I was like over the ledge, I was trying to go up. I was like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. And little things like if you're on a ledge and you want to go below, you have to be pressing block and then jump and you'll drop through. Whereas in Smash, you block and then like press down and you'll roll under. And that's so like counterintuitive for me. And it's just like, go down, you idiot. And so I'm like running around most of the time. I'm like not dropping through because I don't block all that much in this game either. And also, you get an extra button. It's like low, high, and special. So then it's a whole nother set of moves to add to.
Did you play with any of the items on?
No, there's items?
Yeah. I don't remember the exact number, but like playing Smash Brothers Ultimate or whatever, there's, I don't know, 60 plus items, whatever it is. There's like 15, 20 items in this. Like, there's very few. It's very small. But I never got around to playing with any of them yet, so I don't know like what. This isn't an in-depth review of the game. It's just
I haven't even played as every character yet.
Yeah. And as for the other Nickelodeon characters, I mean, I love the Avatar characters, but there's a bunch of characters I don't even know where this is from because it's like stuff that has come out in the past like 5 years or whatever.
Yeah, I think
it's
the
like,
only one
I don't know Nickelodeon now
with is the Loud family characters, like Lincoln Loud and then the little goth girl.
Yeah.
I didn't know them because I've never seen the Loud family.
I mean, like I'm aware of Danny Phantom and I mean I watched a little bit of Invader Zim growing up and that kind of stuff, but you know, it's an interesting, fun game that I definitely need to explore more, but I also think visually it's not as appealing as well. It's like
it's a little rough, but I think there's some charm to it.
Yeah, I mean, by no means would I say it's like an ugly game or like, you know, looking at the graphics make me want to not play it. It's just and it's unfair to compare it to one of the pretty much the greatest fighting game of all time. But it's just having so little content and just looking kind of cheap that you're just like, well, I mean, people paid like good money for this when it first came out, and then
it didn't come out that long ago.
Yeah, it's like 2 months ago, maybe. I don't even know. So I'm glad I didn't spend money on it because when I heard it was announced, I was like, oh, that could be cool. But yeah, it hasn't blown me away quite yet.
And it's nice that they included the DLC except for one. And they've updated it with the voices because that was a big hullabaloo in the beginning of like they weren't going to use any of the original voice cast because too expensive and rights and all that, but they've added it. But now that I've played it, I kind of wish they would maybe tone it back a little bit because some people actually say words. It's not just like grunts and yas and oofs. And so you're doing a move or the computer's doing a move and they're just saying the same thing. Like Garfield, he throws out his bear Pookie and it's just like, come on Pookie, pulls it back, come on Pookie, come on Pookie. It's like over and over again. And like if you're fighting Zim, he's one of the most annoying cartoon characters that have ever existed, and that's you know part of who he is. But hearing him just screaming the whole time, like my God, I will probably never play as that character just because he's so annoying.
Yeah, and I'm glad games have gotten for the most part away from that because there was a period in time where every fighting game had some sort of like whatever character you're playing had a catchphrase and they would just like beat that. It's like, so if I'm playing this game for 8 hours, I have to hear this line of dialogue over and over and over again. Every time
like a lot of Turtles games, it would just be like, radical dude, cowabunga, radical dude, cowabunga. Like, oh my God, I can understand special attack, but I'm
doing low kick.
I'm just doing the most simplistic thing.
Yeah.
Who do you like playing with so far? Anybody stand out?
So I played with Leonardo, Shredder, Aang, and Korra. And like in a Smash Brothers game, I'm always like a sword guy. So like Leonardo's the one I'm best with. But I wanted to branch out before I find like
you didn't play with any of the weirdo characters? Like I couldn't wait to play with Cat Dog and Ren and Stimpy and Powder Toast Man.
I didn't branch out. Yeah, where's Buttered Toast Man from again?
Powdered Toast Man?
Powdered Toast Man,
Ren and Stimpy.
Okay, yeah. It's like, I know I've seen that guy before. I was like, I don't remember what cartoon it was. So he looked fun, but I haven't played with any of the weirdos. It's like I'm gonna stick to my. It's like playing with Shredder was just, this is Ganondorf character.
Oh,
like he's got the same
awesome.
moveset, but yeah, I like Shredder too.
Shredder was great. I really like Garfield. I thought he worked pretty well. Nigel Thornberry, I was surprised how much I liked.
I was picking random characters to play with. I was like, let me fight. Nigel Thornberry's fucking badass in this game. At least in the short period I played against him, he was kicking my ass hardcore.
And this, like, when I play Smash Brothers, I don't have a main, really. I do like my Ganondorfs and my Zeldas for majority, or Rob. They're, I'd say, the ones I think I'm the best at.
God, I hate Rob.
But the fun thing about Smash is there's so many options and so many of them are fun. I don't want to necessarily get good with one character.
Sure.
This game, though, I feel like you really have to find one that works for you and just nail it home and just become the best. Because like my first character I played as was Michelangelo, and some of the moves, I feel like, I should be doing this low attack, but it's actually hitting them up, and it just felt like all the moves were mapped to the wrong button commands, and it just didn't feel intuitive, whereas I was playing as Nigel Thornberry, and everything just kind of made sense. And same with Shredder. I mean, everything he did was like super huge power moves. Because a lot of them, in Smash, you do your up B to get back. A lot of characters don't have that extra thing, so I'm trying to do up special, and it's not working. But Shredder, oh my god, that guy can get back from anything.
Yeah, but some of the characters I saw, you wouldn't expect them to have a really good jump, and then they just have like the best jump.
Yeah.
What? This guy? It's like, what, really? I was shocked to see, I think it might have been Shredder who was doing like, it seemed like a triple jump. And I was like, oh, wow.
Oh, it was like an uppercut that they
Yeah.
Toph's really good too. Toph, it seems like really unfair because it's like, here's a move and I send a wave of rocks at you, and then here's another one where I send a wall down smashing on you. It just feels like a little overpowered, but very fun to play with.
Well, we'll have to have some fights,
some matches,
some matches in the future,
sure.
and get back to everybody.
Okay. So after watching Jurassic World Dominion last week, and that was big disappointment. Since I have that brought up, we were talking about how nobody rides a dinosaur. Fallen Kingdom was on TV, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not doing anything, I'll just have it on in the background. There is a part where they have to like inject the T-Rex with something, and so Claire jumps onto the back of the T-Rex's neck. It's not an official riding, but someone was on the dinosaur.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Got it.
But I forgot that, when all the dinosaurs are running off the cliff and they're all jumping off and then they're in the ball, that's actually a really good scene. It's like one take of him going up for more air and the lava's falling down on him. It's a pretty good tense moment. But not a very good movie. But anywho, after watching Jurassic World Dominion, I really wanted to see some animals eat people. And in gory fashion, because
so you went to YouTube.
No, like, I don't want to see a real bear eat a real person. That's messed up. But a CGI bear eat a person, that's my jam. I'm a big sucker for
The Revenant.
Well, yeah, that's a little more serious. I want this bear stumbled into a radioactive dump site, and the evil corporation is trying to cover it up, and now this radioactive bear is killing the Boy Scouts or something. That's all about me. Because one of my biggest fears is...
Does that movie exist? Because that's a pretty solid pitch for like a really crappy like B horror movie.
Yeah, and then these young kids have to team up and like fight this bear. Because the Scoutmaster would have gotten killed first, and now it's like, well, we're only 11 years old, and we only have this pocket knife, but we got this Boy Scout manual, and we could fight this bear. Write it down. Boy Scouts versus bears. But so I'm a sucker for any movie where there's a giant animal killing people. So I wanted to watch that.
It's called Bare Necessities because they have the bare minimum necessities to kill it. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, it could be a thing like we're taking only the smallest amount of stuff. No, you don't get your radio. You don't get this. We're going to try to live off the land. And
assuming that bare necessities is in like somehow those two words together are copyrighted by Disney. But
no, I don't think so. They didn't invent that phrase. So I watched Alligator and Alligator 2. Alligator was made in 1980. Alligator 2 was like 91. Alligator is a much better movie.
The original, like Top Gun Maverick. All right.
It has Robert Forster in it. He's a cop, and there's the urban legend of people having pet baby alligators that they got from Florida. They would start getting too big, so the parents would flush them down the toilet, and then they grow to a huge size. Obviously, it's like they can't really grow that big because they do need sunlight, and their food source is awful. They wouldn't do it. But there's a lab that's doing crazy genetic testing on dogs. Like, dogs are being kidnapped out of people's yards and tested on, and then they die, and then they pay a guy to like chuck them in the sewer. So this alligator's just been eating these weird mutant dogs, and he's gotten huge.
It's funny that someone took the time to hire people to steal other people's dogs.
Yeah.
Where people would like, oh, this thing is missing, I'm going to go look for it, versus just like going to a shelter and adopting free dogs where like
yeah, and maybe they started with that and like, hey man, this guy keeps coming back.
Ran out, or they're not even free. It's like you can just, I don't know. There's got to be dogs easily.
Attain.
I don't know. Never mind.
They're easy to attain because they got out of the yard and you think it's a stray, but it's someone else's dog and you're just stealing a dog. Well, the guy who is bringing them dogs and disposing of the bodies, he owns a pet store, so it's kind of like his front. You steal dogs, you sell those, and then when they come in saying, hey, I need a new dog, you could sell them a new dog, steal it again. So this alligator is just big, and of course, like all these movies, the hotshot cop goes and talks to the expert, and then lady scientist is there, and of course they fall in love, and it turns out it was actually her alligator that she flushed as a kid, and that just made her obsessed with alligators in general, so she went into that field. It's never revealed to her that it is. It's not like he has a special mark or a scar or anything like that. It's just what a wacky coincidence. But this movie is pretty violent. It's got a pretty good animatronic puppet gator, and they do some like, oh, well, it's walking through the sewer. Let's build a real small sewer, put a regular size alligator in it so it looks like it's enormous. That doesn't quite look as good. But the actual fake gator head is pretty good. Arms getting ripped off and people getting chewed up. A little boy dies. Like, it gets out of the sewer and it's going in people's backyards and in a pool. And these kids are at a birthday party and they're dressed as pirates and they're going to make one walk the plank. And so they like turn on the light and the alligator's just like right there with his mouth open and the kid's like, no! And his brother pushes him in, eats the kid, move on. We don't even like see the aftermath. It's just like, no, we just wanted this alligator to eat a kid. It's great because kids never die in movies and sometimes they need to. That's what you get. That's what you get for playing pirate.
So the kid just falls in, and then it just cuts to black, or is like
no, it falls in, and then blood comes everywhere, and the other two are like, "Oh shit, mom!" But yeah, you don't see the kid get torn apart, but you see some humans do, and they blow it up. It was a while ago.
It was gonna have a big explosion.
Yeah, and the second one, it's not as gory, it's not as good of effects, but it's still a pretty good story, and same sort of thing. Alligator. Dumping chemicals.
Sure.
Get big.
Now, when they blow it up, I assume in some sort of Jaws-like fashion where they like shove dynamite in or like they tie a bunch of meat to some sort of explosive device and it takes a bite or whatever. Now, and like Robert Forster, I'm assuming, is the one who blows it up. He's holding the detonator. He's like, see you later, alligator.
No.
Nothing like that?
No.
Ugh,
and we talked about this when we saw Rampage. You know, the giant killer alligator was coming at him. He had a rocket launcher.
I guess
I leaned to you and said, he better say, see you later, alligator. And he just goes like, fuck you, bitch, and shoots him. And it's like the lamest one-liner you had. And I know if they would have said, see you later, alligator, we would have looked at each other and rolled our eyes. But I don't care. You have to do it. You have the opportunity. You need to take it.
I'm sure it's been done in so many movies that have an out, like, it's...
Yeah, swamp gator, trailer park gator, whatever these movies are.
It's a very bad line, but I still want it.
Yeah.
I don't, and I do. It's I don't know. It's a guilty pleasure, I guess.
So that's Alligator 1 and 2. They're both on Shudder, and I recommend at least the first one. But the second one's not bad if you're doing a Alligator double feature.
So if you because these things never end, if you're going to do Alligator 3, give me a quick pitch off the top of your head. What would you do?
Because they're both in the city, and it's in the sewers. Okay.
Alligator versus the Ninja Turtles.
That was Leatherhead. He was a gator from New Orleans. I'm going to try something different. First thing popped to my mind. So one of these gators before, I think at the end of the first one, you see another baby gets flushed down the toilet. Sure. Oh, the story's going to happen again, or it lays eggs. Whatever, who cares? But it's going to get into the sewer system of like a prison.
Ooh.
So alligator in prison, I think, would be fun, because then you would have these inmates going missing, and the guards are like, did they escape? It doesn't look like it. They went down to go do their laundry shift, and they never came back. And then, the guards don't believe them, but then all the inmates do, and it's this big urban legend. And then the guards and the wardens start getting eaten, and of course, there's a new warden first day on the job, and he's a little more sympathetic to the prisoners. He sees that all the other guards are kind of pieces of shit, and makes trouble when they don't need to. So of course, after they die, you have all these prisoners like, oh, we can't trust the fucking guard. And he's like, oh, no, you could trust me. Remember, I was the one that gave you that extra applesauce at lunch or whatever. I didn't take away your confiscated cell phone. And then you having guys like making improv weapons with what they have, setting up traps with like the weight systems and stuff, and just trying to get this alligator from the prison sewers. And it's
I'm
like...
going to just write Prison Alligator 3, and we're going to be like, what the fuck is that?
What was Prison Alligator 2? I remember 1, though. And it's like, oh, men behind bars and animals in zoos are behind bars. It's like deep. So that's my pitch. Yeah, there you go.
I like it. And you just call it like... Well, I mean, I guess you got to call it Alligator 3.
Yeah.
The Iron Jungle or something like that,
Yeah.
Because they're behind iron bars.
Caged animals.
Oh,
Yeah, and a scene in the shower, that'd be, alligator. They're like trying to grab it. It's all soapy. All the naked guys are all soapy. They can't grab the alligator. Oh, and they do the don't drop the soap thing.
I was just gonna say,
and the alligator bites them in the butt, and that'd be a good death. Like, so imagine if you are bent over and an alligator comes bottom jaw in between your legs, top jaw on your back, and so now your arms and legs are sticking out of the front of the alligator's mouth, and you're just like, no, chomp chomp, swallow. Love it. So
all right,
that's what I got.
Alligator 3 prison sentence. We'll see that in 2025.
Well, let's see if it was. I mean, they should have made one in 2000. Now we're 30 years past the part 2. You just gotta reboot it. Oh, see, this is a new franchise. This is Alligator in Prison, and you do one in America, and then you do one in North Korea. You do one in Russia, and it's just always alligators in a prison setting.
Yeah. But in the third one, the alligators are the inmates.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't kill the alligator at the end of each movie. They capture them, and they send them to alligator prison. And you have them in their little striped pajamas with the little hat and everything. Could you see the mugshot with the alligator?
I love it. All right.
Yeah, what do you got?
So I watched a movie from your favorite actor on Netflix, Adam Sandler's Hustle.
Okay.
Yep.
Who else is in that?
Queen Latifah plays his wife,
Okay.
and pretty much every famous basketball player is in this movie.
Okay.
Or at least a bunch of them. A lot of them you wouldn't know because you don't follow basketball
yeah.
at all. So mostly unknown cast in an acting sense, but a very well-known cast in a sports sense.
Okay.
So honestly, this movie was better than I thought it was going to be.
Because it's not his dumb comedies, right? This
No,
is a
he's
legit
playing
drama.
it. Yeah, he's playing it straight. I mean, there's moments of like levity and stuff, and he jokes around, but he's not.
Scooby-Doo!
Scooby-Doo?
I'm making a basketball! Pointer! Sorry.
It's actually pretty good. No. So Hustle is the story of basically a scouting guy.
A
recruiting scout, thank you, who travels the world trying to find players to put into the draft so they can go to the NBA, and he works for the Philadelphia 76ers. And you find some young, tall guy in Brazil who just seems like a natural. He's playing in like work boots, and he's 22 and has a daughter, and he's poor and everything. And just like, man, you're like the greatest basketball player I've ever seen. Like, obviously, we got some work to do, but we can get you ready for the draft. I can make you like super rich and everything. But like the guy who owns the 76ers is the son. So Robert Duvall, I forgot who. Okay. Robert Duvall and Ben Foster, and Robert Duvall is the owner of the 76ers. He is the one who sort of like gave Adam Sandler his shot and is going to make him assistant coach, because that's Adam Sandler's dream, is to be a coach in the NBA. And then Robert Duvall dies, and his son, Ben Foster, who fucking hates Adam Sandler, becomes owner. And he's just like, yeah, I know my dad just gave you the like assistant coaching job. I need you back out there because you're the best at what you do. Anyway, long story short, he helps this kid train, and I mean, there's like a 10-minute training montage that just doesn't ever seem to end. And like, it's not that it's bad. It's just like, man, this is going on a long, long time. But yeah, it's better than I thought it was going to be. I forget the actor, or he was an actual NBA player. I forget the actor's name, but
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, Michael Jordan. He's just okay. Like, he's fine enough in this role. Like, this movie could have been very bland and very by the numbers of just, it's your classic sports story of just like the underdog who trains really hard and makes his dreams come true.
Yep.
All that stuff.
And then the coach learns something as well along the way.
And so in that sense, it is, but it's just Adam Sandler is good enough, and the movie's, I think, directed well enough where even though it's kind of cliche, it clearly has a love of... This is Adam Sandler's love letter to basketball, because I don't know if you've seen any of the YouTube videos of Adam Sandler playing basketball in the streets.
Can't say that I look.
I don't know if it just comes up on YouTube, especially now that this movie's out. Like,
sure, I mean, I see his face. I don't care what he's doing or what he has to say.
That's true. But anyway, so Adam Sandler's a huge basketball fan, and so him actually like recruiting all these NBA players to be in it, and using an actual NBA team that's not like coming up. They're not using fake teams. Like, this is, it was produced by LeBron James. Oh. Yeah. So it's a clear appreciation for the sport and for basketball. And they even bring in like guys in the training montage who like I've seen on YouTube who were like one guy who's just known for being like really great at ball handling. That sounds funny to say, like, but like dribbling, I guess I should say, for all the people who are not perverts. Yeah, it's just it's an interesting, fun little film. By no means would I say it's great or a must see, but it surprised me and it was a nice little watch. I mean, Queen Latifah, she's like the second most recognizable face in this movie, I guess, next to Robert Duvall, but he's only in it for like 2 minutes. Okay. And then she's in it quite a bit, but they're like, it almost seems like the movie doesn't give a shit about her, because I don't even think she's like in the end credits. I might have missed it. It's just like Adam Sandler comes up first, and they just list every NBA player who appeared, and then it just cuts to like the black and white credits, and it's like, wait, like they didn't even mention her.
Yeah, because when you say like, oh, Queen Latifah,
unless I missed it,
is his wife, it just makes me think of all the movies where your lead actor is doing something important, and the wife character is always just home taking care of the kids, and the only interaction they have is like on the phone, and they just have those conversations like, oh, you got to stick with it, honey, you know this is your dream, and then that's it. She's just there to be support.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much her role. I mean, she's not always on the phone. Like, he does spend some time at home with her and everything, and their daughter. But yeah, his daughter is like, I think wants to go to like film school or something like that, and so there's a sequence where she's like recording him training, and I thought like, oh, she's gonna use that footage to like show like what a great coach Adam Sandler is, and really show off this guy's talent who's like struggling to get in,
and then also show off her filmmaking talent.
Yeah, like I thought all that was gonna interplay together, and it was just like, no, she just kind of uploads a video to YouTube, and everyone's like, well, this guy can kind of play, but it's just like fans kind of talking about it, like it never like becomes a main plot point. So it just seems like, I don't know, what was the point of that? You could have just used any buddy watching like on a cell phone footage. It didn't. I just thought there was more interplay with that.
Weird.
Yeah. So C plus. Okay. I guess. Right. If you're a fan of basketball like I am, it's a nice watch.
Is it an obvious Netflix movie, or does it look like, well, this probably could have gone to theaters?
No, I think it was smart to put on Netflix. I think if it went to theaters, it would have tanked. Okay. I mean, maybe if they marketed it well, but I think if they marketed it, they would have tried to like lean into like, oh look, the new Adam Sandler movie's out. It's gonna be so fun and funny, and just showed a bunch like any sort of joke in the movie. They would have just shown that clip, but it's not a funny movie. Okay. So I don't think it would have done well at theaters.
All right, good. So my last thing is I saw a movie also on Shudder. Props to Shudder. Good little streaming service.
You and your horror movies.
It's called Mad God.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I do know this movie. This is the stop motion, right?
It is the stop motion. Mad God is written and directed by Phil Tippett. He has done a lot of visual effects for like Jurassic Park, and he helped create Go Motion, which adds like camera blur to stop motion to make it a little more seamless. He's worked on Starship Troopers, RoboCop, Star Wars, others. But
Apocalypse Now.
He's been in the industry for a long time, and apparently they've been working on this since like 1987. Because in the credits it said like footage from 1987, 2021. But you can't really tell. It's not like, oh, look how dated that is. So I don't know exactly how much is used. And it's not pure stop motion. There are some live action segments in it that are just kind of filmed to look a little stop motion. But in like the hands and stuff, you could have probably played it off as stop motion, but they show some faces and it's clearly humans. A little bit of CG. I don't know if you've seen the trailer, and I recommend just watch the trailer. And if that looks great, I would say go ahead and watch this movie. If you get grossed out by it, definitely don't. This is one of the most disgusting movies I've ever seen.
Really?
And, yeah, it's gross, and it's not much of a story either. There's a character called like the Assassin, and he goes down, and I don't know if it's underneath the earth, if it's through layers of different civilizations that have just built on top of each other over time. I don't know if it's hell. It's just the most disgusting. The best way for me to describe what everything looks like. Okay, so take like a Rancor from Star Wars and mix it with any of the Starship Troopers bugs and a little Oakjaw, including like the slaughterhouse stuff.
Okay.
Silent Hill, all the real fucked up Silent Hill stuff. Hellraiser and all the Cenobites, and like pour it into a Tool music video, you have Mad God. It's just the most monstrous, disgusting combination of things. So like he goes into a room and the character looks itty bitty, and there's these massive 40 feet tall men sitting in electric chairs being electrocuted, and then some liquid is pouring out of underneath him, and it goes into a drain, and then that is feeding some giant monster, and then you see it go through their intestines, and it's feeding a machine that starts manufacturing little like drone people that look like they're made out of hair, and those drone people go in and do a function, but they're getting run over and eaten by other monsters. It's like a Rube Goldberg machine made out of flesh. It's really gross. And
this is a great review.
the assassin goes and plants a bomb, but it doesn't go off, and then gets captured, and someone's doing surgery on him and pulling like coins and jewels out of his guts, and I don't know if it's about the circle of life or what, but it's just this kind of it feels more like a student film that they're like, oh, I have something to say. This is really deep, but if you can't figure it out, then you're probably too stupid.
So it's a movie that no one but weirdos would like.
Yes. I don't recommend it for you. I would say, skip through it if it's available. Something, kind of zip every couple of minutes.
This better be like a tight 90 minutes.
It is 84 minutes.
Great.
Yeah. And yeah, you're thankful when it's done, because it's just disgusting and no holds barred, and you can't feel sympathy for anything. There's like one little nice moment where this mad scientist guy has a terrarium type thing, and he puts some food in it, and these cute little like neon little bug alien things come out, and it looks like a mommy and a baby, and everything just looks happy. It's like the most brightly colored thing in this whole movie. But then he just like sends in this weird monster, and then it eats the baby instantly. It's like you get 3 seconds of like, oh, this is kind of peaceful, and then no more death, more dismemberment. It's awful. It's really gross. But I had fun watching it just because
you've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, your brain's just processing like, wow, this is just insane. And you know how we talk about different interpretations of hell in movies. This is great. This is kind of like what I think hell would be. It's so mind-boggling and just confusing in all of its purpose, and just complete suffering and violence. And if there is a hell, I'd say it's Mad God.
Jesus.
Yeah. So that's all I got to say about that.
I can't imagine working on a film for 30 years or so, and because I imagine when you started working on it, maybe you didn't care about its success or whatever, but like the landscape of cinema has changed like 10 times since then in so many different ways, with birth of like DVDs and Blu-rays and streaming and just every way that people sort of ingest content. And then this comes out, and maybe it's the best way that this could have come out, because obviously I don't think it would have found a market in the 80s if it was just made back then.
No,
or maybe that would have been the time to put it out.
You have the things like heavy metal that were like, oh, there's violence and nudity in this cartoon, but there is like a subsect of people who are like, this is my jam. This is exactly what I want. But would have been harder to find, I think, back in the day. Now,
I'm not saying it wouldn't have an audience, but it definitely, in the age of content, where you can always find something. It's like that would have been in the back room of someone. It's like, what's Mad God? And check it out. It's like, and then it has that word of mouth thing back in the 80s, where now it's just like, I mean, I guess it's word of mouth now, but it's just like, dude, this is like, no one makes shit like this. This is the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen.
They really don't, and it really is.
Yeah,
so, I recommend it. I gave it like a B, I believe. I think
it was for the sheer audacity of it.
Exactly. It's like you are completely entertained with what you are seeing because it's so interesting looking, but since there isn't much of a story and there's like no dialogue except for a couple of grunts and everything, then it could have been more.
Yeah.
And you probably could have built out this world, but also does explaining these things kind of take away from it? So,
do you remember that animated short that you showed me? It was like 15 minutes. It was on Cartoon Network, where it was like
Scavengers.
The two.
Yeah.
Did you see that that's getting a TV show?
Yeah.
You're super excited, aren't you?
Nick sent me the link, and it's just like, oh my god, I saw that like 5 years ago. It was just on Cartoon Network randomly, and it's still on my DVR even to this day.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not gonna get rid of it. It's so cool. But yeah, I saw that. It's
as you were describing it, that's what made me think of it, because it's just like, here's two people who seemingly do thing after thing after thing that just have no real interconnection to do. I don't even remember how it ends, but it's just like, didn't they like hunt an animal and cut it open and take something out, and then that thing was alive, but then they like buried it in the ground and it spurted like a tree that they cut and then
feed it to another one, and it causes a gas which can unveil a thing.
It was just like mushroom trip after mushroom trip.
Yeah, it's like that. That's like the weird sci-fi alien world thing, and this is more of the dank recesses of your mind, your human centipedes and stuff like that. the things that you would never recommend this to anybody unless you know exactly that they're gonna like that. Where Scavengers, I've shown that to people, go like, just check this out, and they go, that was weird, but that was really interesting. You're not gonna want to show Mad God to anybody unless you have like a really squeamish friend and want to torture them.
I just imagine that scene now, just like Clockwork Orange, of just like the eyes being forced open, of just showing people Mad God.
Yeah. I think for some people this would be a really hard watch, because there's weird monster babies getting crushed, and then their guts are used for special powders, and it's so weird.
Awesome.
Yeah, uplifting stuff. All right, what else you got?
I did listen to something. I found a new YouTube channel which is like kind of up my alley. I don't think it'd be something that you're really interested in, but the concept I think is fun.
Okay.
There's a YouTube channel called Beetle the Bardcore.
Okay.
And it is essentially someone taking popular like hip hop songs and turning them into something you'd hear in a medieval tavern.
Okay.
So it's so just imagine like you're in a Dungeons and Dragons game, or like you're at the Renaissance Fair, you're hearing it, and it's like some tune comes on, and it's like, wait, I know that sound. It's just like he'll do like Eminem's Rap God or a Snoop Dogg song, and just use these like old what do you call it, mandolins and stuff like that to like
lutes.
Yeah, thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Sings on it as well, or is it just instrumental?
It's just all instrumental.
Okay.
But it's just like a fun little experience. And he's got like a ton of videos. So if you're just like really into medieval tunes, but you wanted something more like something you could kind of like sing along to in your head.
Old but modern.
Yes. It's just like a fun little. I was like, if you're into Dungeons and Dragons and you want to like surprise, like, and you're trying to set the scene, like this would be a fun way to like play it in the background. Okay. Or like a lo-fi beats to study to. Maybe you want to study to medieval beats. Okay. This is the way to go. All right. It's just a fun little.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. It might get old real quick after a time, but it's, you know, they're not. They're big songs, and I think
does he do the whole thing, or is it just like here's a 1 minute version?
They're full versions, not like 30 seconds or a minute long. It's the full song.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That sounds awesome. All right, well, let's get to our main topic: Disney's, Pixar's, Toy Story's Lightyear. This was on my list of who gives a crap. And who asked for this? Why are they making this? Toy Story is kind of a done franchise, but hey, I thought it was a done franchise after 3. But I also said that same thing about Top Gun Maverick, and you know, I've been eating a lot of my words. I've been wrong on a lot of things.
Yeah, sometimes there are reasons for things to exist.
Yeah,
whether you want them to or not.
I know.
Well, clearly, it seems like you didn't like it.
I am really indifferent to this movie. Mm-hmm. I went in a little sour just because it's like I felt I was watching it for obligation to the podcast and more of my own entertainment.
Yeah.
But it's not incompetent. It's not stupid. It's not annoying. It just is. It's just a kind of mindless summer action blockbuster movie. I think it succeeds in what it sets out to do, but there's nothing to this that is completely original, and it just feels like a hodgepodge of things we've seen before with a Buzz Lightyear coat of paint on top of it. And so I gave this movie a C. It's perfectly fine. Kids will love it. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of toys for Socks the cat. The best character in the movie.
Sure.
But I don't know. I just didn't really care about anything that happened.
Yeah, I want to say I'm kind of in the same camp. I think I liked it a little bit more than you did, but not by much. I think that there's a lot to like about this movie, and I've said this in other reviews, but once again, I think it's just the biggest complaint I have against this movie is its wasted potential. Mm-hmm. Well, one, when the movie it opens with in 1995, Andy bought a Buzz Lightyear toy, and it's based off of this movie. Yeah. And I totally forgot that was a thing. I just thought like Buzz Lightyear was a toy that he just got. And it has a backstory, but like lots of toys have backstories doesn't mean it's like from a thing. So the fact that this was sort of in canon universe, I thought was like kind of a fun idea.
It is. Now, since we're on it, because I know I'll forget, in the world of Toy Story, and he watched this movie, is this a live-action movie for them?
I was going to bring this up. Okay. As I was watching this movie, I was like, I wonder what... And I think my theory is that this is an animated movie that he saw that inspired the toy.
See, I feel like this is a live-action movie, and because there is a Buzz Lightyear of Star Command show. And that was like 2D animation, and it has like 60 episodes or so. I feel like the movie is live action, they made the toys, and then they made a spin-off show that is a cartoon that would also be in that universe.
Okay, see, I originally thought that this movie was live action, but then as I thought about it more, I was like, okay, well, maybe this is an animated film because one, Andy's a kid, so kids often see more animated films, and Andy's animated, so and Buzz like I mean everything's animated obviously because it's a whole animated film, but it's like Andy wouldn't be looking. I've just confused myself. Never mind. I don't know what to believe.
Yeah, if he's watching it and he's like, I mean, if he looked in the mirror, he'd go, "Wow, I'm a really ugly animated character. Look at this thing that I'm watching. That's really good." I could see that being a justification of saying, like, yes, this is an animated thing because you can make it look even better than reality. But hey, look at live action movies for us, and look at all the people on there. They all look better than everybody who's in the audience. So I'm gonna say it's live action.
Fair enough.
So yeah, do you want to give a synopsis, or do you want to just get into it?
Sure. Lightyear. It's directed by Angus McLaren. Sorry, let me start
Angus
that again.
something. Isn't Angus McLeod in Euphoria? Isn't that?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. Lightyear, directed by Angus McLean.
Angus?
Jesus Christ.
Let's do it again. Take 3.
Lightyear, directed by Angus McLean, stars Chris Evans as Buzz Lightyear. While spending years attempting to return home, maroon space ranger Buzz Lightyear encounters an army of ruthless robots commanded by Zurg, who are attempting to steal his fuel source.
That seems like almost like the B plot. The A plot is we've stranded ourselves on this planet. We've spent a long time trying to get off of it, and because of it, I've been jumping through time, testing this fuel cell. And then also there's a big bad alien guy coming after me. I don't know, but that's IMDb for you. They have the weirdest.
What's IMDb?
Oh yeah, that was right off the top of your head. You are so well spoken, Steve, as everybody can see from these episodes.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, where do you want to start?
Well, first I'll start with the pros.
Okay.
It's nice looking.
Sure.
Very well animated. Pixar is still probably the best in the business in terms of making CG look super realistic, other than characters' faces.
Yes. Everybody's so smooth and have no real edge to their face.
Yeah. The faces look cartoony, but everything else looks pretty great.
It looks pretty good. But saying it looks good, it's like I go to my favorite restaurant because I know what I'm going to get is going to be good tasting food. So when you go into a Pixar movie, you expect it to look good. And I don't want to discount all the work everybody does, but yeah, it's always going to look good. Every Pixar movie looks good. Every year.
But I'm not comparing it to every Pixar movie. I'm comparing it to every animated movie. Like, you look at something like Super Pets that's coming out, or Samurai Dog, or whatever it's called, or Way of the Paw, or I don't know. Whatever it is. But it's like, those don't look great in comparison.
With Disney and Pixar and stuff, those are all the restaurants that are good, and the food's good, and you're not going to have any complaints. And then your DreamWorks and your Blue Sky and everything are the restaurants you don't necessarily like, so you avoid eating them because their food isn't as good. What you're getting into. If I go to a Blue Sky movie, I know it's not going to look as good as Pixar, just like it's not going to taste as good as this other restaurant, but I'm willing to sacrifice that because I want to go here. Whereas I go to Pixar, I know exactly what I'm getting, and it's not as impressive as going wow, it looks really good. And yeah, they always look good.
So
I'm not saying it's a negative.
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say, but it just sounds like, if we're sticking with the restaurant theme, so this thing I'm eating is delicious every time, but that kind of upsets me because I know it's going to be delicious every time.
No.
It's like,
no. Okay, maybe my analogy isn't great. And I will say it does look good, though. Some of the lighting is really amazing in this movie, but now that we are able to do animation and special effects so well, it's not the draw for me.
Oh,
it looks great, but okay, now sell me with your story and your characters, and it's a hodgepodge of things we've seen before of fighting yourself from an alternate timeline or the past, and crazy being stranded on an alien planet, having recruits that are unskilled. It's just a whole bunch of things you've seen before, but with a Buzz Lightyear paint job.
Sure. Yeah, I think Pixar could have made this movie and not done it Buzz Lightyear, and I totally get why you would make that move, just because that's
brand recognition.
Yep. Yeah. Now, that being said, I don't have a problem with it being Buzz Lightyear. Would I rather see a Pixar space adventure that's original, sure, of course, I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
But it being Buzz Lightyear didn't necessarily ruin the movie for me.
And they have a new movie coming out called like Strange Worlds. So I could see them going like, well, we already have this other space thing. We can't have two original ideas. God forbid we can't release two original sci-fi things. So yeah, let's just make this a Buzz Lightyear.
But what I will say is I like that. I think it had an appreciation for science. And by no means was the movie like teaching kids lessons. No. But I like that the like in that scene where Buzz is doing his first space mission and his ship's kind of going off course, and he takes and he's like
doing the math
in the ship. I was like, oh, I like that. Like the characters in this movie, except for like sort of the inept ones, like everyone actually is smart. They are capable people, even if they're kind of like bumbling, buffoonish characters or whatever. But I like that this movie was not dumbing down its thought of just like, oh, well, let's focus on the aliens or whatever. Just like, no, like science is important, exploration is important, that kind of stuff. I thought that
and
was
he's good
nice.
at his job, and he's not just the hot shot. He's just not the best at everything because he is. It's like, no, he actually is the best because he has the skills. We see him, trial and error and fail and succeed, and he's not just, a Gary Sue.
Yeah, and when we see Buzz Lightyear in the original Toy Story, where he believes he's the real Buzz Lightyear, even though he's clearly like a true space ranger, he seems like an idiot because like he doesn't realize he's a toy, or he loses his mind and thinks he's like a Barbie doll and his arm's falling off. Like it becomes cartoonish, where this takes itself seriously. Even though there is jokes throughout, like I almost wouldn't say this is comical. I
wouldn't say it's comical at all. I'd say it's very unfunny.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of the jokes land as well as they should. I mean, all the Socks stuff is
good, but good. Like
I got tired of Taika
Waititi.
Yeah.
I'm tired of his shtick. Yeah. I need him. He can play a vampire in What We Do in the Shadows, and he can direct a bunch of stuff. But I love his voice. He has a great voice, but I don't think he's as funny as a voiceover as he is in real life. So knock it off, Taika, because I know you listen to this.
Another thing I wanted to say is I wish that the planet they were on was more visually interesting.
Thank you. There's nothing to it besides killer plants.
So the only alien things we see in this are vines, which you don't really see what they're connected to, which fine. It's a underground killer tree, I guess, or whatever.
Maybe it's one thing, maybe it's a bunch of things. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? And then we just see the giant bugs, which never really become like that big of a threat. There's
giant bugs? When was there giant bugs?
The giant, but like when they went and got the suits, they were like
one scene with bugs and
two,
I guess.
Anyway,
they had to be invisible and get through them.
Yeah. So and then they like live on this planet, and we're just like, and we're mining it for resources, and that's how we're kind of build the society on this planet. Just like, what resources? I don't even see any like fucking trees around here or anything. It's just I wish, because the great thing about like space and fantasy films is just like you can make up whatever you want. You can make it look. It could have been an entire planet of like neon colored plants, or it could have been like like Avatar and there's just floating rocks. You could do a bunch of weird shit, and you don't have to explain anything because it's just science, just magic.
And it doesn't even have to be real science. It's like, well, how we know science works where we're from is this way, but on this planet they have elements that we've never experienced, so you can do anything.
Or just put quantum in front of everything. Like like that's the great thing. It's like you can explain stuff, and then but you also don't have to.
Because before this, there was a trailer for Strange World, and there's a part where the side of a cliff separates and it just starts walking away, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. There seems to be a lot of really wacky out there ideas, and then this movie, it's just a Earth-ish planet with a poison ivy plant coming after them. That's about it.
Yeah. I didn't expect the time, just because from the trailer, I didn't expect, I think they said like Buzz jumps forward in time in the trailer.
But I thought it was going to be a one-time thing.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be one time. I didn't think he was just like doing it over and over and over again because he's like trying to accomplish his mission.
Yeah.
But like I really like that idea of like him going and going and going and constantly failing, and like his best friend is aging and getting older and older, and like only essentially sees them for like a day or maybe a week.
Yeah, we don't know how much time
during the montage sequence, but
he's willing to like sacrifice this personal time with the only person who kind of gets him,
because he's like, I'm doing this to save all of us.
Yeah, because I got us into this situation.
Yeah,
and that's what you always do. You got to finish the mission.
Yeah, and I think as nice as that scene was, I didn't really feel the emotional impact that I wanted to. Like the scene where she leaves the hologram for him and kind of just like, I won't be here when you see this, and you get the little glimpse of Izzy as a kid. Like, I thought all that was really nice, but I never felt like he felt the weight of all of his failure, and I really wanted to see it. And I think this movie could have been about, and I think it was trying to, because everyone in the group was kind of a failure. But I don't think they leaned hard enough into it.
Yeah, especially him going and doing this thing. It's like, oh, we're sending you out, and he comes back. It's 4 years later. Hey, resources are getting scrapped. Like, we're cutting on food rations, or there's a new disease or whatever. And it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And that's why he gets even more motivated to do it. But he just kind of goes one time, comes back, and it's bad. There's an alien ship here that's filled with robots. But I agree that you don't feel the tug.
Yeah. And back to the alien robots, he on his last mission, he comes back, they're there and they're attacking the city, but you never see them attack the city. I never felt the weight of like, we need to save the people.
Yeah, you don't even see him panicking or anything, or like, fortify the defenses.
Like, there's one little kind of clip where that like sets that up, but in I think other big sci-fi movies, like that would have been the finale. It's like they destroy the ship, the shields come down, but the robots are still active, and then you just have kind of like this big robot battle or something, and Buzz comes in at the last minute and takes them all out and destroys whatever machine that makes the robots fall, whatever. And you don't get any of that, which is fine, but that's like another big action set piece that I thought they could have had, but they didn't. I just wanted there to be more, especially with Pixar movies. My whole thing is just like, because you were known for a long time as, you're the animated studio who makes people cry. I really wanted just something more for Buzz. I didn't need the other characters. Like, you had the Taika Waititi character who is this like, oh, I always surrender. And, he finally surrenders at the end, but he's like, does it to like get them out of a situation. It's like, that didn't hit hard. You had the convict character who's just like, you could have done something. It's just like, no one really grows or changes all that much. It's just like they kind of just fail into success, as opposed to they learn so much from their failures that they now become a success.
And any problem that they have, like when they get trapped in those little cones of containment, and if they get too close, they zip together and they're trying to get out of a thing, and then they just do. And then that's it. And like, okay, the lesson is we have to work together. We got to be part of a team. One person can't carry everybody. But sometimes we just like fly by these things so quickly.
Yeah.
And it's like we don't ever have any time to sit and breathe and just take in a moment. It's just go, 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 go. And it is an hour and 40, so it's not super long, but it's not 90 and under. And it's like, if they just pump the brakes a little bit, cut back some of the buffoonery, because like every member on this team, including Izzy, they're all, I don't want to say annoying. They're not like so bad that I don't like these characters, but there's not enough to them that you can forgive some of the obnoxious stuff. Like Taika Waititi's character, Mo, why was he there? Like they're just like volunteers. Like at least the one was a prisoner and she can get time.
She was kind of like an explosive expert almost.
Yeah, which only comes up once. Oh, she can make a bomb out of any three things, and we'll do it one time in this movie. Like if you're gonna have that MacGyver type character, she should be getting you out of these situations because everybody empty your pockets and she solves the problem. But she does it once, and then Taika Waititi's character, he just joined up. Why? There's like, he's a non-character. He's just the scaredy cat.
Yeah.
He's the one that's gonna panic or say something silly, and it's just.
He's got that pen though.
What a funny joke he's doing over and over again. So I was thinking, this may have been better if these were all kids, if these were younger people. Like maybe Izzy could be a little bit older, but she's not that she's training the next generation, since she's not even a space ranger yet, but she's kind of taking the position to watch over these kids, and they're going on a fun adventure and thing, and then this big event happens. And I just think it would be more interesting to see the kids coming together to solve the problems than this criminal and a goofball. I don't know. I just did not connect with really any of those characters.
Yeah, and like if you go back to the scene where Mo is upset because he, got them trapped or whatever, and he feels like a failure, and Buzz is just like, well, yeah, next time do better.
Yeah.
And just like, Izzy gives him a look, and then he has to like tell some back. It's like, okay, the movie tries to give it this nice moment, but like you said, it kind of just blows right past it, I feel like. And then it's like, it should have, I was waiting for the moment where Buzz, like, they failed so many times, like especially at the scene where Izzy like ejects the hypercore when they're trying to escape. I thought he was going to be like, you idiots. Yeah. Like, this is all your fault. Like, I've done everything. Like, this is why I don't need anybody. I need to go solo. Like, I thought there was going to be solo Star Wars. No, I just thought there was going to be some big blow up from him. And then, it'd be that classic animated thing, which is like, okay, well, these are the people that you need. You need to work as a team. But there was like none of that. He just kind of like had like, yeah, he was frustrated, but he always had patience for everybody. Yeah. Which like can be a good thing in movies, but they just never leaned into the failure aspect of this movie. I wanted to see Buzz like emote and be like upset. It's like, I have sacrificed everything. I've left my best friend, like everyone I knew who was my age is now like dead or almost like they're all in their 90s or whatever. Like the world he knows is gone, and just they didn't do anything with it. And I think, and it's always easy to say this should have been a TV show because you can spend more time. But I think if Pixar ever went into the animation department, sorry,
they should try some animated movies.
If Pixar ever went into the television department, I think this could have been the first like real. It would have been a good success for them on like Disney Plus. It's like, oh, here's the Buzz Lightyear show. It's going to be Pixar level animation, and we're going to like do some like he's going to go on space adventures after space adventure, and he's going to build relationships with these characters, and we can have nice heartwarming moments or like really sad moments, and really let that settle in. I'm not saying like a 22 episode season or anything, but like here's 6 episodes, here's 10 episodes of the Buzz Lightyear adventures, and it just be impressed that Pixar is making long form storytelling as opposed to just the past 20 years of this these just singular movies. It might have been a good way. It's like, we'll start with this because it's a known property, and if this takes off, then we can jump into original television ideas from Pixar.
So I think specifically for this, why it wouldn't work is because like this seems like a streaming movie, and then you take something like Turning Red that is an original idea and has emotions and characters and growth and story and everything, and that's what you put in theaters. But they just like dump Soul and this and there was another one, right? Onward. No, Onward was in theaters.
Oh yeah, but it came out.
It was pandemic time, and it got screwed. But like Soul and Turning Red just like and Luca immediately dropped onto Disney Plus. Because they are original ideas, and then this is the brand recognition thing. You got to put it in theaters. So I see what you're saying, but I can see why they would say no.
I understand. I'm just like, if you wanted brand recognition to be on the television space and like pull viewers into Disney Plus, this might have been a good one to do a small mini series of and just try it out.
So let's. I got some nitpicks and some questions.
Sure.
That I wrote down. So we'll just go through those.
We didn't even talk about Zurg, but let's get into it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to Zurg. But you want to start with Zurg?
No, I mean, start with whatever you want.
Okay. So there is a therapy cat named Socks, and after his first return back after being gone for 4 years, they give him this little robot cat that's supposed to help him get reacclimated and just have someone to talk to. I can't remember what exactly it was for. Was it just therapy?
Yeah, I believe it was just like in case you come back and you have and they never really said like space madness or anything. It's just like, you've gone through this thing and like your whole world has changed. It's like not by a ton, but you've lost 4 years of your life. It's a strange thing. Here's someone
to talk to. Because we don't want to talk to you.
Because we don't want to
talk to the cat.
Yeah.
Okay, so the best character, Socks, the robot cat. He's trying to figure out the new fuel formula. Why isn't it? He's not able to push this fuel crystal to 100% and yada yada yada. Mm-hmm. So he sets the cat in front of the computer and says, "Figure it out." And then he does. This
it takes him 60 years.
Sure. But it's so strange that they have technology of a thinking machine that could figure out this problem, even if it took a long time, and they can space travel and they can make laser domes or anything, but nobody else is able to figure this out. I don't know, it's almost like an AI generator creating your screenplay, and then you turn it in and you win an Oscar or something. Like, how does this toy cat figure out the problem? That just seems so incredibly stupid. And he has it memorized, or at least probably, and then on the computer he has the formula and it gets crushed and he goes, "Oh no, the formula." I thought that was going to come into it, like, oh, we have a chance to make more of this. Socks, you got to help. And like, sorry, memory bank's full, I can't remember it or something. But no, it just doesn't come up again because they don't need to make any more because they have it.
Yeah, no, you're right. I was wondering about that too. It's like, okay, so you would think that this thing has the ability to store infinite information,
sure,
or like even if it doesn't have the ability to store everything, it would store this super important information that he's worked 60 years on.
Yeah, it would delete a few of the years where Buzz wasn't around.
Delete jungle sounds from your bank and just keep the formula. Yeah, I don't know. That almost feels like this is a scene that we like animated, and then there was another scene where like the core that they made was destroyed. So here it is. We'll use the cat and we'll be fine. But that never comes up. It's like the formula was destroyed, or the hyperdrive was destroyed at the end of the movie, and it's like, but what do we need it for? Because we're just going to live here.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. I mean, that was the point of the movie, was to get off this planet, but...
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. When they are escaping after the bug scene and she ejects the power core, they have to go into a place and get a thing. There's a lot of
coil.
Fetch. Yeah, there's a lot of fetch quests.
I mean, all movies are essentially fetch quests.
But they have to get a thing so they can get the vehicle up and running again. But after they do that, and remind me to talk about the sandwiches, after they do that and they come back, they're like, oh, we need 5 minutes. And like, well, the ship still has hover capabilities. Are you fucking serious? We parked like 20 miles away from this thing. We've had hover capabilities this whole. We can't hover back home or wherever you need to. It's like, we got to fix it because we're stuck here. Except we're not.
I could be wrong, but maybe it was one of those things where like I put in this coil, the hover stuff activates immediately, but the other stuff needs time.
I mean, maybe. I
could be.
get that.
I could be wrong. I don't think it was made clear either way. It just seemed, but I agree. It's probably just one of those things. Just like, well, we need to have this chase sequence. This thing works now.
I mean, you would think.
Or it's like maybe we don't want to use the power to take us there for whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But that's stupid. It's like you get yourself there, so when you get the coil, you're right there, and you can put it in. You don't have to 20-mile trek back. But in a normal Pixar movie like this, they'd go like, we need time, everybody out and push, and they'd push and they'd get to the edge of a cliff, and then they'd slide down and they all have to hold on, and then they get the power going, and then they could launch off before they hit the other cliff that goes into a deep chasm as the bugs are chasing them. But it's like, no, just turn it on and fly away. We're good. Yeah, that's fine.
I think this is the part where we recognize that as I'm watching, when I left the theater with my wife, I was just like, I was talking to her about it. I was like, yeah, I just kind of think that this movie would have done more for me if it was just a little bit more adult. Mm-hmm. But that's the thing, like, these are people making a kids movie. You don't need to do all that because the kids aren't going to nitpick it like we do.
No.
But because we're adults, we're like, well, we want it more adult and darker and, more thought to put into it. It's like, but they don't have to. And that's what I try to remind myself. Is like, you don't have to have the answer to everything.
Yeah.
But as an adult, when you're watching, it's like, maybe you could just have an answer to that thing.
Yeah. When my theater was pretty full, as always, handicap spots, I keep saying that. I want to make it perfectly clear. I'm not taking any handicapped person's spot. I'm taking the available spots between handicapped spots. So it's fair game. But my theater was pretty full. Mm-hmm. And as the trailers are going, like, I'm hearing all these kind of like little kid voices and whining and when's the movie going to start? And you know me, I'm not a big fan of kids. I'm already rising in
I'm
bile.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the day that you get me in a fight because you just couldn't stand someone's kid.
and then I had to stop and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm in their territory. This is a movie for them. This isn't for me. You got to be quiet. And no kid was so bad that I had to be like, you know, shushing them. But there was this kid like crawling around on all fours, like getting his eyeballs really close to the track lighting along the floor so you can see when you're exiting, and he's just kind of like goofing about. And it's like, God, kids are so freaking weird. And if you're a parent, don't let your kid crawl on a theater floor. They're disgusting. They rarely get shampooed. They'll get vacuumed, but they're nasty.
Ben and I worked in a movie theater for a long time.
Yeah.
And so we know what's disgusting there.
We had a woman have a miscarriage in a movie. This was a different theater than what.
No,
we
yeah, I'm aware.
And it was like they just ratcheted out the chair and threw it away, and then like it got mopped up, but there was no like special sanitizing to get amniotic fluid out of carpet. So
the theater didn't have amniotic fluid degreaser?
Yeah. They didn't. We were out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because so many people have miscarriages in theaters.
Right.
You go through that stuff quickly. So yeah, I realized I can't be upset at kids yelling, but if I go to fucking Morbius and your child is talking, you know, unless they're 13, they're not allowed to be in there, and they're going to get a shush. Let's see. What else we got here? Okay, then this is something that kind of came up in Obi-Wan Kenobi as well, and in all sci-fi movies.
Sure.
Lasers can do whatever you want. You want it to open that door? Shoot the control panel. You want it to close that door? Shoot the control panel. You want the timer to start again after it's been paused? Shoot the control panel. Like, lasers just know what you want, and they'll do it. That's it, really. Like, it's just such a thing. So the part in Obi-Wan, they're like on a dirt road, and there's some rocks on the side, and there's like a 3 laser gate. And it's like low enough that you could hop over it. And he could have lifted little Leia over and Jedi Force double jumped over it, no problem. Or even walked around it. It wasn't like it was flesh to the rock or anything. And then, of course, he just shoots it, and then it goes out. And it's like, come on, sci-fi movies. Who are your technicians that are making everything laser activated? I could understand you shoot it and it stops working, so then the doors can't be opened. I get it. But if it's open and you shoot it, you don't think they would slam shut.
And, you know, this is just Star Wars specific, but yeah, I agree. It's one of those just movie things where it's like you hit a thing and it shuts off or turns on. It's dumb, but it's like if you're in the Star Wars universe and you're a Jedi, you have the magic to just turn it on. Like, that's your excuse. He waves his hand, the thing goes off, because that's just an ability. Like, that would make sense that Jedis can do that. They have this mystical energy that can, like, essentially not hack the thing, but like I can trigger the mechanism that unlocks it versus like, oh, well, let me shoot this thing. Yeah. Because what's the point of having these security systems in all these futuristic planets or whatever, and then, you know what opens up everything? You just destroy it. Then it's like, what's the point? That's not a security system.
And then even in more modern movies, it's like, we got to get in this room. All the gold and the bail bonds are in there. And it's like, I'm hacking the computer, but it's not working. And then the big boss just gets frustrated, pushes the guy aside, shoots it with a gun. It sparks a bit, and then door opens. It's so fucking stupid. Knock it off.
Yeah, I get it's like often used and played as comedy. It's like, look, you're doing all this like big brainy smart stuff, but if I just punch all my problems away, you know,
violence solves all your problems.
Yeah, it's just like it's just a way for the movie to go forward, but it's nonsense. Yeah. I just want to. That's if we ever write a movie together, that's one thing we'll put up a bunch of stereotypes, or not stereotypes, cliches in movies, and go like, all right, we're going to talk about this one and this one and this one, and go like, we're going to have a scene where they try and do this, and it's like, no, fucking dumbass. Give me 5 minutes, I'll get the door open, because that's my job. That's what you hired me to be on this heist team for. If you're just going to punch everything.
Oh, thanks for shooting the safe. Now you reset the tumblers, and I'm going to start from the beginning. Thanks, Dick. Let me bring up another Obi-Wan Kenobi cliche or trope that I hate. So there is a Imperial officer who is actually a good guy. Like, they signed up because they actually believed in the Empire, but she's had a change of heart, and she's helping Jedi through an underground railroad sort of thing. So this character is trying to sneak Obi-Wan into fortress it's so impenetrable. They don't even have guns or shields around it. It's that hard to get into it. Like, okay, you would still have guns and shields. I don't care if it's an obelisk in the middle of the ocean and it's hard to get to and whatever, you would still have guns. Because they even show planes fly in and shoot a bunch of guys, and it's like, man, I thought this was whatever, that's not my nitpick. That's not my thing. So she's trying to get in. She's walking through security, and the security leader is like, excuse me, you're not supposed to be in this sector. You don't have clearance to enter this room. And she goes, what's your name? Maybe if I told Darth Vader that you held me up on my very important business, then they'll come and talk to you. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. Go right ahead. Fuck you. If that's my job, and they're like threatening me with getting fired because they're going to tell my boss that I didn't let them through, let them. They'll say, good job, you're doing your job. Even if, yes, she was allowed to get through. We didn't update the files, and she should have been able to get through. But thank you for doing your job and just not letting anybody go through these doors because they threatened you with a demotion or something. I hate that so much.
Yeah, see, that's where you do the thing where it's like you have that same exact scene, and then you have the person go, oh, well, yeah, well, this is my job. I'm doing it properly. And they call the boss, and then it's just like, as he's about to call the boss, that's when you like punch the guy and be like, yeah, okay, now let's go.
Sure.
And then you have to like figure something else out.
But it was more he cows to it, and then someone else comes in, grabs her, and is like, come with me. And then he takes her behind like a bookshelf, and she snaps his neck and like leaves his body out for everyone to see, and then just goes about her business. It's really dumb. Obi-Wan Kenobi show is pretty dumb. It's not bad. It's just kind of dumb. Like, Darth Vader holds a ship from taking off. Like,
that's cool.
It is kind of cool. And then he lands and then like rips out a whole section of the side. It's cool looking. And the closest we've ever seen was like Star Killer doing that, but that was like to an entire Imperial Star Destroyer. Mm-hmm. But we've never seen him do that in anything before or after to that level. We've never seen any Jedi do anything. Like, the most was like Yoda catching Senate things, but that's the size of a coffee table.
Yoda pulling the... no, I guess it was... Who pulled... When he was crashed on Dagobah,
it was Yoda.
Yoda lifted it up, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the biggest thing I think we've ever seen.
Yeah, not a ship that's actually trying to take off with boosters and he's just holding it there. Oh, my God. Okay, we're not talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Back to Lightyear.
Back to Lightyear. Okay. Another movie where we get to see an old Chris Evans. So it turns out that Zurg is actually Buzz Lightyear from a different timeline. Instead of, crashing, he kind of took back off. Like, there's just a little fork where he didn't meet certain characters and they hand wave some of that stuff. It's like, and then I came across a ship full of robots, and then I just became the Robot King, and then I came back to get the thing. Like, whoa, go back there. What was that ship? Who was running it? Were the robots all put to sleep? Was there someone in charge of it? Like, they just run right past that.
Science.
It's a naturally occurring ship filled with robots.
It's a quantum ship filled with quantum things.
So, old Buzz is trying to, get new Buzz's fuel source so he can go back and save the day. And, but if you do that, then this person may not exist. And friends and family and yeah. But it just seemed very similar to the Lego 2, where Chris Evans, a different version of himself, like an older version, comes back to mess with him. Isn't that the plot of Lego 2?
Well, you mean Chris Pratt?
What'd I say?
You said Chris Evans. For Lego 2.
Oh, yeah. Chris Pratt.
Another one of the Chris's. What was it? I forget the plot of Lego 2.
Yeah, because he was like a more jaded version of himself. Oh, yeah. Because he got thrown underneath the washing machine or something.
Yeah. He was like the cool guy, and he had some kind of funny name. He was like Cool Guy McCool or something like that.
Like a Duke Thunderguns or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Raptor trainer, even in space.
Is Buzz Aldrin still alive? Do you know?
Yes, I think he's like 94 years old.
I was gonna say, like, I know he's not an actor, and he probably wouldn't want to do it, but I feel like that was a missed opportunity to get like. You should have got Buzz Aldrin to be old Buzz.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. But they got
because here's a real space like. The closest thing we have to a space ranger in a movie about space rangers playing an old version of a space ranger. I think that was like...
What's Josh Brolin's dad's name?
James Brolin?
James Brolin. He was Zurg.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even catch. I just figured it was Chris Evans with a voice changer. Yeah, because he's just a Zurg. He's not older Buzz. Right? Or does he play older Buzz? Because I just thought it was Chris Evans played older Buzz.
Okay, sorry. The way you were... I was confusing me. I think he does... He's just older Buzz, and then they might do his... And Zurg's voice is just a voice machine. So, I mean, that was probably James Brolin voice with some sort of audio thing, but I think...
He is older Buzz.
He is older Buzz, yeah.
Okay. Oh. Huh. Because it kind of just sounded like Chris Evans to me, but...
Yeah, well, it's also one of those things where he was like How I Met Your Mother, where you have... a grown man.
Yeah, Bob Saget doing the voice.
But Bob Saget's doing the voice of another grown man.
Josh Radnor.
Josh Radnor. It's like, why wouldn't Josh Radnor... Like, his voice wouldn't change in 10 years or 20 years, whatever it is. It's like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I was like, you could have just had Chris Evans just voice Chris Evans.
Yeah. One thing I did kind of like was integrating some of the things we've seen the toy have, like when he finally gets a little laser on his wrist, like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I was like, wait a minute, we need the wings. When is that going to come into place? And
I will say that shot was pretty cool.
It was cool. Like the ejector seats were, actual wings. That was cool. And then he tries to do a Superman and like hold a spaceship that's going into orbit.
That was the part I had the most problem with in this movie in terms of like silliness. I thought all of it, like, for the most part worked and was fine. Him trying to like push back or slow down the trajectory of a ship going through orbit that's like essentially on fire just seemed absurd.
Because we never see at any point the suit really giving him extra powers. We don't see him picking up huge rocks or anything. It's just a spacesuit.
Now, I can get behind the idea of like, it's an advanced suit, so like heat wouldn't affect him.
Sure, that's fine.
But I still don't believe it would, give him any sort of strength whatsoever. Or like even a jetpack would give him the strength to like stop this thing that's going 700 plus miles an hour, I assume. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But on another plus side, all the flight sequences in this movie, especially after watching Top Gun, I thought they were great.
Oh, yeah.
I think I would have loved to just like more flight action sequences. Like if there was a big space battle and just seeing Buzz do pilot stuff.
Sure.
This is pod racing. No.
And I like the idea of the 3 rings, like, that slow you
him down. Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah. There was, I think, some cool ideas in this movie, and I just wish they leaned into more of those.
So there's the first robot they encounter, that Taika Waititi hits in the head with a spear. It loses its arm. It's like slowly chasing him throughout. And I feel like they wanted to do more with this because it looks like all the other ones except it was yellow. Right, it was a different color, or
I mean, it was yellow, but I think a lot of them were also yellow.
Oh, okay.
But there were other versions. There was red ones and purple ones, I think.
And after they blow up the Zurg ship, he still comes after him at the last second, even though the Zurg ship shuts everybody down. How's that? Huh? How's that work?
I'm gonna guess because it had the spear in its head. It had some sort of
okay, hit a transmitter or something.
That's my.
See, that
weak right around guess.
This type of thing that they would hit it in the head, it comes after him, and it's about to kill him, and then it's turned into a nice guy. It's a good guy robot, now he's part of the team.
It'd be like the thing at the end of a post-credit sequence where it's like playing video games with Taika Waititi's characters.
Or the one that's like writing on trying to give him directions, and he keeps messing up and starting over again. I didn't stay for the in-credit scene. I guess there is a post-credit scene.
I don't know if there's a second one, but there is like after the main animated credits, there's a quick little scene before it goes to the main credits.
Is it that robot?
No, it's Burnside, the guy who takes over for Hawthorne. He's sitting at his desk, and you're looking up, and behind him he's got the big window, and you see the laser field, and you just see a bug go into it, and the bug dies, and he's just like, lasers.
Really? That's
Yeah.
it?
Yep.
Okay.
Or laser field.
Well, there is a post-credit scene as well where the robot, I think its name was Derek.
Yeah, Derek.
He eventually finishes explaining how to get to the place, but then when he turns around, everybody's already gone. So it's like, ha ha ha. But so it's like I could see that character and then the Zurg robot. They're playing video games together, and
Or like going on a date or something. Like,
something.
So you from around here?
Yeah,
Something stupid like that.
What else I got? Check that off. The last thing I really got is that people are upset that it's not Tim Allen doing the voice of Buzz Lightyear. Me, I don't care. It makes sense. You buy a Spider-Man toy. Mm-hmm. It's not Tom Holland's voice when you push the button on the back. Sure. It's always someone different. So yeah, Tim Allen is just the generic Chris Evans voice, and I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, you could even say that if this was a live-action movie, Chris Evans is playing Buzz Lightyear. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the Buzz Lightyear of Star Command cartoon show, he's voiced by Patrick Warburton. Anybody make a big hoopla that it wasn't Tim Allen coming back for that?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah, I mean, I get the impulse, but, you know, when I first heard it, I was like, well, that's weird. Why don't you just get Tim Allen? But watching the movie, it's like, oh, yeah, who fucking cares?
Yeah. And that was back when I thought this was going to be the thing that happened to Buzz Lightyear was a real-life astronaut, and then they adapted his story into the Buzz Lightyear toys. It was just like he was an American hero that did a crazy thing, and then they just kind of like went nuts and added aliens and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
So I'm kind of glad they went this way of a movie within a movie, because it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to, you know, if we had a Neil Armstrong toy, but we gave him, you know, wings and a laser gun.
I mean, it seems like the American thing to do.
That's true.
Just give any toy a gun and superpowers. I mean, would you be okay if they... I mean, obviously it wouldn't really affect you, but do you think this has sequel potential?
Oh, yeah, for sure. They'll do more. Well, they'll finally be able... Now we can get off this planet, and we've colonized this one. Let's go to the next adventure. And...
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing that I think really excites me about this movie is, like, maybe it's so kind of unoffensive now just to like pull you in the hopes that these, if there is a Lightyear 2 and 3, that they really do some cool, interesting stuff, and they go to exciting planets, and they really go all out in future films.
Yeah.
In that case, that could be fine.
Yeah.
But if we're just looking at this as its own singular thing, kind of missed the mark in terms of like really doing some cool alien stuff or just interesting looking planet kind of stuff.
Yeah. Buzz doesn't know what a cat purring is, because Socks starts getting scratched on his belly, and he starts purring, and he's like, oh, what's that sound? What is it doing? Even if it is a robot cat and it's making robot sounds, you don't know cats purr? You wouldn't assume, that's a thing cats do. It was like if it was a dog and it was panting, and like, oh my God, why is it making that sound? Oh, well, it's a dog panting. Like, is Buzz dumb, or is he that out of touch? Or maybe cats don't exist anymore, because it's like the year 4000, I think. Yeah. I think that he says like Star Command 4022 or something.
Yeah, my only thought, and once again, it's one of those things that's just like...
It's just there for a joke.
It's just there for a joke. It's like, and didn't really explain, or maybe they have the reason of why that could be explained, but they don't explain it because it's like, it's a kids movie, so who gives a shit?
Wait for the prequel, then we
it's just
can
like,
answer that question.
Or maybe he's just been in space so long. It's like he knows what a cat is, but he doesn't know what they sound like, because it's like growing up in space and on space stations, maybe there weren't pets really. So it's like I've seen books and videos of cats, but I don't know that they purr. But like you don't explain in the movie. You don't go like, oh man, I've never had a cat. Like I don't even know what do cats sound like.
Yeah.
Like it's always, you could just fix every problem in a movie with a single line, and then most of the time they just don't, because like, oh well, now we're just adding time, or we're answering questions that don't matter, and I recognize that they don't matter, but it's still like, you realize why that's a problem, right?
And it's like they throw him the cat, and he goes like, oh, what is this? Didn't they outlaw household pets 1,000 years ago? Like, yeah, but this is a robot, and this is a cat. Like, huh, cat, I've heard of that. It's something simple.
10-second scene, right?
10 seconds, right there. That's like 4 days of animation rendering, so.
But what I will say about Socks, we've already established that Socks is the best character, but we haven't really talked about Socks all that much. what I like about Socks is that he functions in the group. He has a personality, and he does more than like his sole purpose of being in this movie is to sell toys and to just be the cute thing that partners with the main hero. Every Disney movie has it. Moana's got the chicken. Raya's got the dog bug that can roly-poly thing.
Yeah.
Just there's always the team up of a cute thing plus hero. But oftentimes they're just some dumb animal or some animal that like does jokey things in the background. We're like, Socks is one of the major comic reliefs, but he's smart and has function and like helps the characters do things as opposed to just like, oh, thanks for catching the magical stone that flew over there with your beak or whatever. It's like, but you just happen to be lucky to pick it up, or like, oh, you swallowed it. Now I gotta punch the thing out. It's like just some dumb thing. It's like, no, Socks is the R2D2. You know, it plugs into the spaceship and like starts. It
has a little blowtorch out of its mouth.
Yeah, I like that they gave it things to do.
Yeah.
So I appreciate Socks in that regard. It's just like, this is cute. We can sell toys, but also, it's an actual character.
And so if this is a movie in Toy Story, and they made Buzz Lightyear toys, and they made Zerd toys, you're telling me they didn't make Socks toys? You're saying Andy didn't want a Socks toy?
I think Andy was too big for a Socks toy at that point. Buzz Lightyear's cool.
And maybe when he sees it, it's like, they always team him up with a stupid, cute animal. That's dumb. I don't want that shit.
Or maybe that would have been a toy his sister had, but
maybe
we never really...
But the line ran dry.
But, you know, his sister was younger, didn't see Buzz Lightyear at the time. He wanted the boy toys of that toy line.
He didn't get the part. He didn't get Izzy. He didn't get the old lady prisoner. He's just like, nah, I'm
it's
a
like,
Buzz boy.
he has, like, Bo Peep and, like, all these other, like, kind of kiddier toys, but he got them when he was younger.
Yeah, they were
hand-me-downs, or like
family heirlooms.
Yeah. So he's got young kid toys, but they were grandfathered in.
Yeah.
Where like now he's just like, no, I buy the cool, or my parents buy the cool, the Space Boy toys.
Yeah. Space Boy toys. What? That's a fun movie. You could cast Chris Evans in that one as well.
No, just cast Chris Evans in everything.
Yeah, why not? What a wonderful voice.
Yeah.
He has just such a nice sounding voice. It's commanding but not threatening. He's just...
I don't know if I've ever gushed about Chris Evans on this podcast, but I'm going to do it. Chris Evans, at least from what I can tell, has never made a bad movie. At least, there's movies of his I haven't seen.
Sure.
But he's always just good in everything. Yeah. And like Cellular... People often say, that movie's dog shit. Sure. And you know what? It's not great, but I fucking love Cellular. Yeah. The Perfect Score. No one remembers that movie. I like that movie.
I like that movie.
Yeah. Push. No one gives a fuck about Push.
Nobody cares about Push.
You and I, we love Push.
Yes. I don't think... It's like... There's not a time we hang out together where we don't bring up Push. It's ridiculous. I probably have only seen it maybe like 3 times in my life. I own it. But we talk about Push a lot.
Yeah. It's... one of those movies I wouldn't say is a hidden gem, but at the same time, it's like it's just not. It's not bad.
It was done dirty, and it deserved more. And it seems like a really good pilot for a TV series.
Yeah, that gunfight sequence in the restaurant.
Oh yeah,
super cool.
And like superhero movies were on their up around that time.
2009.
So we're post Dark Knight, post Iron Man, but it's still early days. And I love that they set a limit of there's 7 powers. Yep. That's it. There's not time manipulation and just like all these things. So like there's 7 options and that's what you get. And I think that really helps focus stories and characters when it's only this thing. Whereas when you read any sort of a comic book, like, oh yeah, this person can, absorb the power of the cosmos to do these huge blasts, and this person can read your minds, and this person can unmake reality, these world-ending sort of mutants. It's nice when it's almost like the senses. Oh, there's a sound one and a touch one and a sight one. It's just really simple, really clever, and I love it.
Yeah.
But keep gushing about Chris Evans.
Yeah. Not another teen movie. His first movie.
Oh my God.
First movie. One of the greatest comedies of all time. And I say that with no hyperbole.
Absolutely.
I honestly mean
the best parody, except for one scene. The shit scene is kind of gross and stupid. Sure. But everything else is just so spot on. It's like, I hated She's All That because like I could see how dumb it was at the time. But after watching Not Another Teen Movie, like I love She's All That. It really grows on you because there's just these wonderful companion pieces, and I don't know.
Yeah, like what a breakout performance from him, and
Owns that character.
Just
Jake something?
Jake Wheeler.
Jake Wheeler.
Yeah, just
that intro of him walking into school and seeing a picture of himself and then looking at a picture of himself looking at a picture. It's just so funny. He's just really good at that dumb, cocky smile.
Yeah, and parodies often, a lot of times, like don't age well because like the movies they're making fun of, no one's even seen them before. Yeah. But I think and maybe it's just because
it's your generation.
It's my generation, and maybe if I showed it to a kid nowadays, they'd be like, "What the fuck is this talking?" But it's like, part of me feels like it kind of holds its own. Like you don't need to see the movies that it's mocking to go like, "I see what you're doing here."
Yeah, a lot of like the Varsity Blues stuff, or kind of like universal high school football tropes.
Yeah.
I would say the only one that probably goes over people's heads is that shit scene because that's supposed to be a pay it forward parody, I believe.
Okay. Yeah.
And nobody's watching Kevin Spacey movies anymore, so that reference is going to go completely over their heads.
Snowpiercer is one of the best movies
Knives Out
in the past decade or whatever it's been.
London, I mean, it's not a great movie, but he's still pretty good in it. Yeah,
he directed a movie called Before We Go, where it's just like he plays like a trumpet player in New York, and he meets Alice Eve, and they just have like a night together, and it's like just this really nice. I mean, it's nothing special. It's nothing I necessarily go like you have to see it, but first directed movie, it's actually pretty solid. There's a movie called Playing It Cool that no one but maybe I have seen. Okay. It's like a kind of a funny romantic comedy. He's great in that. Like Chris Evans is just awesome.
I guess he is in Free Guy, as is himself.
I mean, I'm not counting those where he's just like doing cameos or whatever.
That show Defending Jacob on Apple Plus, I hear, is really good, especially because of him. There's so much Marvel stuff. Gifted, I heard, was pretty good.
Gifted's great. I love Gifted. Yeah.
And it's got, our favorite in it.
Jenny Slate.
Yeah. God. It's like I'm in love with her and I can't even remember her name.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen Wait, you said Playing It Cool?
Playing It Cool,
Playing It Cool.
Yeah. I would recommend Playing It Cool to you. I think you would get a kick out of it.
Before We Go, The Iceman, I don't know what that is.
Like, I never saw Puncture. Puncture might suck ass.
Okay, there is a bad movie that he's in. What's Your Number? With Anna Faris.
Yeah, but, I mean, I feel like every movie we listed was a Chris Evans movie versus What's Your Number, which is an Anna Faris movie that Chris Evans just happens to be in. Like, The Nanny Diaries, I wouldn't call a Chris Evans movie.
Scott Pilgrim, The Losers.
I mean, Scott Pilgrim isn't a Chris Evans movie, but Chris Evans is great for that quick scene he's in.
Battle for Terra. I mean, it is just another voiceover thing. That's a bad movie. The Nanny Diaries.
Oh,
Fantastic Four.
He's great in Fantastic Four.
Sunshine
is the shit.
You know
what? Let's make this a Chris Evans podcast.
Yeah.
We're just gonna break down. We're gonna watch every episode. Will be a different Chris Evans movie, and we'll what do we call it? The Chris Evans podcast. I guess who fucking cares? Anyway, long story short, Chris Evans.
He can really do no wrong.
Yeah, he can do no wrong in my eyes. I love Chris Evans. He's America's ass. He's Captain America. He's a great actor, and I hope he wins an Oscar one day if he gives a shit about that. Mm-hmm. Also, God damn, he's a good looking man.
Yeah, and so did you see the pictures of Ryan Gosling as Ken in the Barbie movie?
Yeah.
Chris Evans is a better Ken than Ryan Gosling, because Ryan Gosling is an attractive man, but he has a specific look. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's universally handsome, because there are plenty of roles where he looks like garbage. He has a good face as an actor where he can look kind of gross.
Yeah.
Chris Evans doesn't look gross in anything. Even in Snowpiercer, he's a freaking tailie, right?
He as in the back of the train person?
The back of the train person, yeah.
Tailie.
Well, I know that's a lost thing. They called the tail people tailies, but
okay.
But like Ryan Gosling, he's an acquired taste. No one's saying Chris Evans is bad looking, and I'm sure he was busy with some Marvel bullshit or whatever. Or maybe Greta Gerwig doesn't think he's all that cute.
Yeah, whatever. I get the impulse to hire Ryan Gosling because, like you said, I think there's some movies where you look at it and it's like, okay, he's kind of like, he's a handsome man, but he's not like attractive. And then you see something like, what's that Steve Carell movie that I love with him?
And Emma Stone.
Oh, fuck. I talk about this movie all the time. Fuck, what is that movie?
Don't look it up. Think of it.
We're gonna cut all around this. So it sounds like I'm smart. Love, Death, and Robots.
Not playing it cool. It's not Love Actually, but like
I hate myself.
Look it up.
I hate myself.
Give me the first letter of the first word.
It is
Crazy Stupid Love.
Crazy Stupid Love. Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, like he's.
But in Crazy Stupid Love, he's super handsome, super attractive. I was like, oh yeah, I get why so many chicks want to be with Ryan Gosling. But
I can like Ryan Gosling. He could play a junkie, and I'd believe it.
Yeah.
Chris Evans can't.
Yeah. I mean, he was a junkie in Puncture, but I've never seen Puncture.
Oh, damn it!
So maybe he's believable in that. I don't know. Yeah, but I've seen pictures of Chris Evans like going to the Lightyear premieres, and I don't know why we're gushing so much about Chris Evans, but like here's the thing about Chris Evans. It's like you see a lot of these celebrities, they're always like in suits or these super high fat. Like this dude wears just like long sleeve t-shirts and jeans, and I was like, God damn, he's so effortlessly minimalistically handsome, and that's what like I find appealing about him in a totally heterosexual way. It's just like this dude is so fucking good looking, and he doesn't even try, and that's what's crazy to me. Because there's other people who are out here like just it looks like they're trying to look handsome, but he's just like he just throws on a baseball cap and like
as long as his beard's trimmed, his hair's trimmed, he looks good.
Oh, man,
it must be real rough to be that guy.
Yeah.
So yes, we are in agreement. Chris Evans, beautiful man, wonderful filmography, the best of all the Avengers.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about celebrity culture. It's one of those things that in America you just kind of can't escape. Like you pull up Instagram, you're just going to see like, can you believe this person said this about this? Or this person's going to be in the new whatever? It's like, I hate all that shit. So I don't get excited when certain actors are in things. But like Chris Evans is one of like maybe 2 or 3 people I'm like, yeah, if Chris Evans is in this shit, I'll probably see it. Because I know it's going to be good. It's like him and Andrew Garfield. Mm-hmm. Those are like my 2 favorite actors now.
We always talk about like getting a whiteboard of like things to remember, things to, actors whose names we forget. We should have a list of actors and actresses who are so good you will take a risk on something just because they're in it. That'd be good. And those are our top 2. And we'll put them in a big gold arena and make them fight.
Spider-Man versus Captain America.
Oof. It's a good one. I mean, we've seen it. Wrong Spider-Man, but we've seen it. We know Captain America's going to... Okay, if we're talking movie versions, Captain America's going to win that. Comic books, Spider-Man's going to win that.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one last thought. So... in comic books, the color scheme of green and purple are generally bad guys. You got like Joker, Lex Luthor in his power suit, Green Goblin.
In a sense, the Hulk is villainous.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, he's a good guy, but he's so out of control. It's hard for him to be the hero because he is a rage monster and whatever. But then your blues and your reds are generally reserved for the good guys. Your Captain America's, your Superman's. So with this green and purple scheme, does that make Buzz Lightyear a baddie? He is mostly white, I'll get it. But if you had to think of the other colors, it's green and purple.
Huh. Well, I like that in the sense that just like you don't have to conform to traditional movie cliches. You can branch out and do your own thing. It's like you're not defined by the color of your outfit. It's you can be whatever you want to be. And if you want to be a space ranger, great. I will say that it seemed like, I guess if you were a space ranger, you had the green and purple, and then if you were a space ranger but a rookie, you had like the reddish kind of color.
Yeah, there was a bunch of like an orange and blue one.
Yeah, but I mean, I like the orange and blue one that he was in.
Favorite.
Yeah. But like when all 4 of them were like in a line and they all got their suits, it was just like 3 green and purple. Like there was a darker hue than the light ones that they get at the end, and then Taika Waititi's character was in the reddish orange one or whatever. It's just like I was surprised that they didn't make them all different colors.
Yeah.
And then just to like sort of differentiate Buzz. I mean, obviously you can tell Buzz right away from everyone else because it's an old lady, a black woman, and whatever.
A Maori man.
A Maori, yeah. But I just was surprised by that. Like, it's your opportunity to like do a bunch of different colors.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, maybe this one's like the engineering. It's like a Star Trek thing.
Yeah, this is the underwater space suit, and this is the high heat one, and this is the black hole suit.
And then at the end, they just all wear the same thing, which like, in a sense, like, okay, that's a uniform. Like, it makes sense they all have the same thing. But at the same time, it's like, if they make sequels, like, oh, well, maybe they should all get different colors that do different things.
I'm sure they will.
Because also that would just, I would think, sell more toys,
Sell
too.
more toys,
Yeah.
You know, battle, ice, electric action Batman. You know, all those old toys are just like, Mr. Freeze is da-da-da-da-da. And well, Batman's got to put on his electric punch shock fist suit. And like, he doesn't have that shit.
Yeah, I was at the toy store, and I saw like a giant mech suit battle bot kind of thing. It's like, why would Batman have a like? And it was like a, you know, and it comes with like a little Batman toy that you can like stick in. So it's like the pilot is like, why would Batman need a giant robot version of himself? And it wasn't like the anime one from the Batman Samurai or whatever it was called, or Ninja. It was just like a giant Transformer Batman. It's like, what the fuck is this for?
He needed a suit to fight Superman. You know, maybe he's fighting something even bigger.
I guess.
We
got way off the rails from Lightyear.
Yeah, so this is...
Go watch another teen movie if you like Lightyear.
If you like Chris Evans, pick anything, really, from his filmography, and you'll have a good shot of seeing something good. Especially watch something you haven't seen before, because things like Push go under the radar, and it's got a ton of other people that you'd like in it, too. So I say C. What would you give this?
I was between a C and C plus, because it's like, I do enjoy it, and I do think there is potential, and it was better than I thought it was going to be, but at the same time, it was so middle of the road unoffensive that it just is like, well, it can't be anything other than a C. It's just, it's a movie that exists, and that's kind of all it is. So I'm going to say C leaning into a C plus, but it's a C.
Okay. And in our rating of Smash or Pass, how do you rate a C? Because that's right down the middle. You don't smash, you don't pass, but you sent nudes back and forth, but you never really went on a date.
I was gonna say, like, you kind of made out a little bit, and like, but you like, or you kissed the front door, and it's like, maybe on the second date we'll try this out.
Okay. Yeah, there's promise of undershirt over bra action.
Yeah,
but you never get there.
Yeah, maybe you got invited up, but you're like, I'm kind of tired. Let's save it for next time.
Chipotle's really running through me. I got to get home. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Lightyear is a possible diarrhea system.
Which means it's average. All right. So next week, I don't think the Black Phone is out. I don't think that's a whole episode. Do you think? I think we should do a Make Me Watch.
Okay.
And and let me just throw it out to you. I don't know if you have the time or the effort, because the last time we did Make Me Watch, I didn't have much to say. It was a real short episode for us. What if we watch 2 things each? Is that too much? Then we have 4 movies okay, well, what if we do 3 movies? I make you watch something, you make me watch something, and then we both have to watch something that we both haven't seen. Just an idea.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna do the sign-off stuff.
Yeah, do the sign-off stuff.
All right. Well, tune in next week for something. And if you want to get in touch with us, we are at WRPL Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Or you can email us, WRPLpodcast@gmail.com, for all your questions, comments, and concerns. And as always, I am Ben.
And I'm Steve.
Good night.